All right, good morning, everyone. How are you doing? So my name is Haytham El-Hawari. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Kinetic. As you'll see today, and as you've probably noticed in the industry, like the operations and logistics are getting increasingly complex. There's a lot more technology involved. Warehouses have hundreds of thousands of SKUs and items. Robotics is actually pretty common these days in logistics warehouses. But the one thing that hasn't changed in decades is the technology that's used to keep workers safe. And so I'm going to give you a quick overview of the history of worker safety technology. So if you take your worker, hard hats came into vogue in the 30s, eye protection 1910, ear protection in the 60s, safety vests, hand protection, so you get the idea, right? Literally, the technology used to protect workers hasn't changed in decades. My personal favorite is signage. Lots of people start to use signs. So this is really the state of the art in safety, right? And you would think, well, if this stuff hasn't changed in decades, maybe it's not really a problem. But actually, when you look at the statistics, it's pretty astounding. So every year, about $60 billion gets spent on workplace injuries in the US alone. 25% of them are injuries related to manual labor, right, which is really prevalent in industries like logistics, manufacturing, construction. And as you've heard before in the panel, like our workforce is getting older, and so as our workforce ages, these injuries are going to become more and more prevalent. And if you think about it, I mean, now is peak season for a lot of logistics companies. They'll hire anyone they can, and training is literally, hey, here's 10 minutes on how to lift. Now go lift, 300 packages an hour. So it's not surprising that people are getting hurt. So we've developed a technology to help people improve the way they move when they're at work. So use better biomechanics. It's a wearable device. I'm wearing it right now. So it goes on your belt like this. It looks a bit like a pager. And we use machine learning essentially to figure out how someone is moving just based on the motion of their hips. So this device is able to know if you're bending incorrectly, if you're twisting your body in a way that puts your back at risk, or if you're overextending. And if it detects any of those three motions, it provides real-time feedback to the worker. So it gives them a vibration, it counts how many times they do it, it ranks them against their colleagues, and ultimately leads to a big reduction in the number of these unsafe postures. Managers get a dashboard where they can see who are the workers at the highest risk of injury, what are the highest risk jobs, what's the highest risk shift. And so they really get analytics that helps them focus on the areas where the next injury is going to happen. So this is sort of how the device works. It sits on your belt and it's able to exactly when you perform a lift, or when you're performing sort of a big motion, and then it analyzes, are you bending your back? Are you twisting your back? Are you overreaching? And so it does all that in real time so that by the end of the motion, it's able to give immediate feedback to the worker. So we've been on the market for about a year and a couple of months, and we're already starting to see injury reduction. So we've had a large logistics company put us in their 2 facilities with the most injuries. And last year, by this time, they had 10 injuries, and this year they've had 0. And literally, we have about 5,000 units in the field. No worker who's worn a Kinetic unit has gotten injured so far. So we're seeing some really good results in terms of injury reduction and the return on investment you can expect when you reduce these injuries. But the interesting thing is that if you work and move better, you actually become more productive. So we've seen in a lot of the logistics companies we've deployed at that we can increase productivity by about 5%. So as people move better, they're able to keep their pace up for longer periods of time, and so that has a positive impact on productivity too. So we've deployed about 4,500 units, 3,500 of those are under contract, the rest are sort of in pilots. We mostly target sort of self-insured large enterprises right now. And our team is pretty, so my background is I'm a PhD in biomechanics. This is sort of my field. My co-founder was one of the leads in the IBM Watson team, so a big data guy. And then we have a really good hardware and software team that have come from warehouse industry. And then I want to leave you with sort of our vision. We first initially want to start with worker safety, and we feel that there's a lot of opportunity to detect slips and falls, to detect when people are jumping. But ultimately, there's no reason this device couldn't clock in and clock out for you. It couldn't speak to some of the machines that you're using and figure out if you have the right training to use it, and what time you started using it, and what time you stopped. So we really believe that the future of this industrial workforce is a connected workforce, and this device is going to enable that. Thank you very much. Yeah, there are a few companies out there that are starting to do this.
I'm asking that because I was thinking I saw something about this skeleton that is like a robotic. Do you think that's a competitor for you?
Yeah, so there are some exoskeletons. So the big problem with exoskeletons and most of these devices, honestly, is that no one wears them. So it's a real challenge to make a product that a worker is willing to wear in a really tough environment where they're sweating, where they have to move a lot and fast. And so the key, it took us 1.5 years to get this product to market, which I thought it wouldn't take us so long. But really because we started with a back brace with sensors and then with a chest strap and no one wanted to wear it. And so we ended up with something that is sort of discreet, goes on your belt, and people are actually willing to wear it. So that's really for getting this to be popular.
Hi, really cool technology down here.
Oh.
Hello.
Hi.
Just a quick question. What has the acceptance been from the actual warehouse worker? So great that the company wants to do it. Obviously, you're saving the company money. What is the reception from the actual individual who has to wear that been? And then you mentioned one customer. How many customers have you actually deployed this across so far?
Yeah, so the worker one is a really, really important question. So for us right now, we've gone from like relying on managers to impose this on workers, which is sort of the first approach, to making it something that workers want to wear. And the only way you can do that is first you make it comfortable and easy, but most importantly, you have to make it fun. So we have goals that they have to achieve, a bit like your Fitbit. We rank them against each other, so they're sort of competing against each other. It has a pedometer, so it counts your steps, because that's sort of fun. So we're trying to make it something that they come in every day, they clock in, and they grab it because it's something they want to wear every day. And so to answer your question, we're getting usually about 85 to 90%, we call it participation, which is how often are you wearing it out of every day that you work? So it's pretty high. Key to that, though, is how managers present this. So if they present it in the right way, this is a safety device, there's no disciplinary action, then people react to it much better. And then in terms of customers, we have about 20 customers right now, just over 20. But you know, we're working with about 7 that are very large.
Thank you.
Can you talk more about your team?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a PhD in biomechanics. I've worked both at Harvard Medical School, but also at a large sort of medical device company. My co-founder was, on the IBM Watson team. He's good at electronics, but also just a big data guy because of that. The people who design this, our hardware team, all come from like ex-Motorola, so they're people who used to work in warehouses building scanners and stuff, so they're used to building really robust. And then we have a data team, the algorithm developer that come from the autonomous vehicle industry, and so they joined us, so 2 guys.
Do you have any recurring revenue, or how are you selling this?
Yeah, good question. So all of it is a subscription. Basically, you're paying about $200 to $300 a year per device. Is the device, the software, the data, and the warranty. So it's all recurring revenue. So we track their movement, but we don't track their location. So we started with a GPS on here, and then we took it out because it's people don't want it. People won't wear it if you have it in there. The reporting. So what it is analytics that allow you to know where the risk is. So who are the workers with the most risk, jobs with the most risk. So it's pretty robust in terms of you triage pretty quick. You need to focus your attention.
Are most of the injuries happening in warehouses have to do with, I guess, lifting and moving, not like getting pierced by something, or like that kind of?
Sure. So yeah, number 1 injury in the US by far, like 24% of all injuries are lifting-related injuries. Number 2 is slips and falls, very, very close behind. And number 3 is getting caught in between equipment. So that's usually the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. So how much of that market are you hoping to capture? What's your retention rate? And are there adjacent markets you can get into in the next year or 2?
Adjacent markets I sort of spoke about. Like we want to ultimately have this device be something that helps operations run really smoothly, that could do access control, things like that. So that's definitely where we want to go. But I think in terms of safety, $60 billion gets spent every year, $16 billion on the injury that we're taking. And a lot of that gets concentrated on the big, sort of Fortune 1000 companies that have a huge workforces. So right now, like the maximum number of companies ordered is, next year we're going on every driver at a logistics company, which is a 4,000 unit order. But So we're in the thousands, and we want to try to get into like the tens of thousands at each one of these companies.
Are you raising money right now?
We just closed a round in May.
Is there any reason this shouldn't be solved by computer vision?
Yeah, so it's tricky because understanding how people move, regardless of lighting and field of view and all that, it's much easier solved when you have a device on people than relying on cameras, which can get obstructed and things like that. But ultimately, like the reason we chose this is because this is a gateway, right? Like once you have workers wearing a connected device, the things you can do are sort of you can do a whole range of things. And so the real objective is you have a connected device that's on every person, and we want to be able to do lots of cool things with that. And you can't do that with a camera, or exclusively with a camera.
That's all the questions we have. Thanks.
Thank you very much.